Hollywood has always thrived on mystery, and no mystery is bigger than the stars who refuse to label themselves. In 2025, whispers of queerness surround some of the most famous names in the industry. Whether through daring fashion, lingering rumors, or undeniable chemistry that plays out on and off screen, these closeted male celebrities carry an energy fans can't ignore. It isn't about confirmation. It's about the vibes, the signals, and the moments that make audiences wonder. In today's countdown, we're looking at the top 5 closeted male stars with the strongest gay vibes in 2025. From Harry Styles' flamboyant rockstar ambiguity to Shawn Mendes' long-standing speculation, from Hedges' indie mystique to Ansel Elgort's enigmatic comeback, and finally Cole Sprouse's troubled allure, these men embody the tension between silence and spectacle. Which one radiates the strongest energy to you? Comment below and don't forget to subscribe. Harry Styles has built a career on more than just music. He has built it on mystery, spectacle, and the kind of ambiguity that keeps fans and critics endlessly talking. From his early days in One Direction to his reinvention as a solo star, Harry has thrived on blurring lines between boy band idol and rock god, between masculine and feminine, between private truth and public performance. And in 2025, no male celebrity radiates stronger gay-coded energy while refusing to define it. From the very beginning of his solo career, Harry leaned into fluid fashion. He stepped away from the boy-next-door image and embraced high-fashion eccentricity. Gucci blouses, pearl necklaces, flared pants, nail polish, and even dresses became his armor. At the 2019 Met Gala, he stunned in sheer lace and a single pearl earring. In 2021, his Vogue cover, in a dress, ignited a cultural firestorm. By 2025, he had turned this aesthetic into a signature: bold, playful, ambiguous, and always queer-coded. But it's not just about the clothes. On stage, Harry embodies camp energy with confidence. His tours became carnivals of color, with feather boas, sequins, and flamboyant dance moves that feel like love letters to queer history. He flirts with his bandmates, dances suggestively, and delivers winks to the audience that fuel endless speculation. Fans scream not only for the music, but for the vibe, the suggestion that Harry is saying something bigger without ever putting it into words. And then, of course, there are the rumors. For years, tabloids and fans alike have dissected his dating history, from high-profile relationships with women to whispers of male romances. Harry has never confirmed or denied. Instead, he's crafted a narrative of not labeling his sexuality, telling interviewers that he doesn't want to be boxed in. For some, that ambiguity feels evasive. For others, it feels like freedom, proof that a global superstar can embrace fluidity without explanation. 2025 brought more of the same. At Coachella, Harry appeared in a glittering bodysuit that left little to the imagination. At Fashion Week, he stunned in a pink silk suit layered with pearls. Social media erupted, fans calling him the gayest straight man alive, while critics accused him of queerbaiting. The debate itself became part of his power. Harry doesn't need to say anything. His aura keeps the world talking. For queer fans, the meaning runs deeper. Harry represents possibility, a mainstream star who bends the rules of masculinity, who takes queer-coded aesthetics to the biggest stages in the world. Even if he never comes out, his presence normalizes the fluidity that younger generations embrace. He shows that being ambiguous can be powerful in its own right. The question now is, does Harry's refusal to define himself make him an icon of freedom or a master of mystery? Drop your thoughts in the comments if you believe he's more than just a rock star, he's a revolution in motion. Few stars have carried the weight of gay rumors as heavily or as publicly as Shawn Mendes. From the moment he broke onto the scene with his boyish charm, soaring vocals, and soft romantic ballads, Shawn became one of the most recognizable heartthrobs of his generation. But alongside the fame came relentless speculation about his sexuality, whispers that followed him into every interview, every performance, every red carpet appearance. And in 2025, the conversation hasn't faded. If anything, it's grown louder. Shawn's rise was meteoric. Hits like Stitches, Treat You Better, and Senorita made him the soundtrack of teenage romance. His handsome looks and gentle persona cemented him as a pop prince. But almost as soon as his career exploded, so did the rumors. Clips of him crossing his legs too delicately, his soft-speaking voice, or simply his closeness with male friends were dissected online. Entire TikTok compilations and Twitter threads debated whether he was closeted, coded, or simply misunderstood. The speculation became so overwhelming that Shawn himself addressed it in multiple interviews, insisting he was straight but admitting that the rumors caused him anxiety and self-doubt. Yet even as he pushed back, fans weren't convinced. For many, his every move radiated what they called gay energy, a vibe that couldn't be denied. By 2025, that perception has only deepened. Shawn's fashion choices have evolved, moving away from traditional heartthrob leather jackets into looser, gender-fluid styles. On red carpets, he has appeared in sheer blouses, pearl accessories, and pastel suits that blur the line between masculine and feminine. His collaborations with fashion houses like Valentino and Givenchy lean into soft, romantic aesthetics, choices that fuel speculation rather than silence it. Performances have added fuel to the fire. At festivals, Shawn has been more experimental with his stage presence, dancing with a fluidity that fans interpret as queer-coded. Social media clips spread like wildfire, with comments ranging from supportive, "he's living his truth in his own way," to critical, accusing him of queerbaiting. But the constant attention only proves one thing: Shawn Mendes has become inseparable from the conversation around closeted stardom. And yet, Shawn continues to play with ambiguity. He doesn't deny his critics, but he doesn't confirm the speculation either. His aura is one of openness, an emotional vulnerability that makes fans feel like they know him, even if the truth remains private. In interviews, he talks about therapy, self-discovery, and breaking free of toxic masculinity, all of which add to the sense that Shawn is rewriting the image of a male pop star. For queer fans, Shawn Mendes represents something complicated but powerful. He is a symbol of longing, of what it means to see yourself in someone who may never say the words out loud. His closeted vibes aren't just about sexuality. They're about energy, softness, and the refusal to conform to rigid definitions of masculinity. The question is, will Shawn ever define himself? Or will he remain the pop world's eternal mystery? Cole Sprouse has lived most of his life in front of the camera. From his early days as a child star on Disney Channel's The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody to his brooding turn as Jughead on Riverdale, Cole has never escaped the public eye. But in 2025, his relevance isn't just about the roles he plays, it's about the energy he gives off. And for many fans, that energy reads loud and clear, queer-coded, troubled, and impossible to ignore. As a child actor, Cole was known for his boyish charm and twin gimmick alongside brother Dylan. But growing up in Hollywood left scars. By the time he returned as an adult star in Riverdale, he had already reinvented himself as the artsy intellectual, the photographer, philosopher with a dark sense of humor. His interviews became notorious for cryptic statements, edgy quips, and moments that walked the line between brilliance and self-destruction. That ambiguity soon bled into how fans perceived him, not just as a troubled artist, but as someone radiating a queer-coded vibe. On red carpets, Cole has leaned into that aura. Gone are the safe Disney looks. In their place are retro-inspired suits, silky shirts, and bold accessories that blend masculine and feminine cues. At a 2025 premiere, he wore a velvet emerald suit paired with jewelry that sparked endless commentary online. Twitter lit up with fans calling him queer-coded perfection, while gossip blogs speculated whether his style choices were hints at something more. Off-screen, Cole's persona only adds to the mystique. He speaks openly about therapy, addiction, and the toxic culture of child stardom. That vulnerability, paired with his biting sarcasm, creates an aura that is both guarded and magnetic. Fans find themselves drawn to his contradictions, a star who insists on privacy yet gives just enough to keep speculation alive. His close friendships, his poetic social media posts, his refusal to fit neatly into Hollywood's mold, all of it feeds the sense that Cole Sprouse is more than he appears. Of course, the speculation hasn't always been kind. Some accuse him of queerbaiting, suggesting he uses ambiguity as a branding strategy. Others dismiss him as a has-been from the Disney machine, trying too hard to reinvent himself. But for queer fans, Cole represents something raw and real. He doesn't have the polished ambiguity of Harry Styles or the delicate mystique of Hedges. His energy is messier, darker, and more chaotic, and that makes it resonate even more. In 2025, Cole exists in a liminal space. He is not the heartthrob leading man, nor is he a fully canceled celebrity. Instead, he thrives in the gray area, where queer-coded vibes, troubled artistry, and unpredictable choices make him fascinating to watch. He may never label himself, and he may never deliver the clarity fans crave. But perhaps that's the point. Today, Cole Sprouse stands as the closeted or simply enigmatic star whose queer energy is undeniable. He isn't polished and he isn't safe. But in Hollywood, where mystery is currency, Cole has proven that troubled ambiguity may be his greatest power. The question is, will Cole Sprouse ever step out of the shadows, or will he remain Hollywood's eternal enigma? For a time, Ansel Elgort seemed destined to be Hollywood's golden boy. With his boy-next-door charm, tall frame, and effortless charisma, he shot to fame in The Fault in Our Stars, breaking hearts worldwide as the romantic lead. Then came Baby Driver, where his mix of vulnerability and cool confidence proved he could carry a blockbuster. By his early 20s, Ansel looked unstoppable. But Hollywood loves a fall as much as it loves a rise, and in 2025, Ansel's story is less about golden promise and more about the enigmatic aura he now carries, an aura laced with queer-coded energy that fans can't ignore. The cracks began when scandals from his past resurfaced, threatening to derail his career. While he denied wrongdoing, the controversy left a mark. Casting directors grew cautious, and his once inevitable trajectory toward superstardom slowed. But instead of disappearing, Ansel reinvented himself. And in that reinvention, fans began to notice something different, a queer-coded energy, subtle but undeniable. By 2025, Ansel's public appearances had taken on a new flavor. On red carpets, he leaned into bold fashion choices, tailored pastel suits, satin shirts unbuttoned just a little too low, jewelry that shimmered in ways most leading men wouldn't dare. At one film festival, his pink double-breasted suit paired with pearl accessories sent Twitter into overdrive. Fans called it bisexual chic, while gossip blogs speculated about whether Ansel was hinting at something more. It wasn't just the clothes. Ansel's demeanor shifted as well. Once the straight-laced golden boy, he now projected a softer, almost enigmatic presence, smiling mysteriously in interviews, leaning into vulnerability rather than bravado. Even his social media posts, carefully curated, seemed to embrace fluid aesthetics with artsy photos that blurred masculine and feminine energy. Of course, the speculation followed. Fans dissected every detail. His close male friendships, his cryptic captions, his occasional androgynous styling. Was Ansel Elgort closeted? Or was he simply embracing a new kind of masculinity, one unconcerned with old-fashioned boundaries? The uncertainty only added to his allure. Not everyone was impressed. Some critics accused him of queerbaiting, claiming he was using gay-coded energy to repair his image after scandal. Others dismissed his choices as attention-seeking. But for many fans, especially queer audiences, his ambiguity resonated. It was less about whether Ansel would ever label himself, and more about what his energy represented, the dismantling of Hollywood's rigid boxes. And beneath it all, Ansel still had the talent. In indie projects and smaller films, he reminded audiences of his range, delivering performances that showed nuance and depth. The Golden Boy may have become an enigma, but he was still a compelling one. The question is, has Ansel Elgort's transformation made him a closeted queer icon, or just a golden boy who discovered the power of mystery? Lucas Hedges has never been a typical Hollywood star. Unlike other young actors who chase blockbusters and paparazzi headlines, Lucas carved a path through quiet, soulful performances that made him the darling of indie cinema. From Manchester by the Sea to Lady Bird to Boy Erased, his work has always been defined by depth, subtlety, and emotion. But in 2025, it isn't just his acting that keeps people talking. It's the queer mystique that surrounds him. Unlike many of his peers, Lucas has been unusually candid about his identity. In a 2018 interview, he described himself as not totally straight, but not gay and not necessarily bisexual. That honesty was rare at the time, especially for a young actor at the start of his career. Yet, his refusal to pick a label only fueled more speculation. For some, he became a symbol of fluidity. For others, he was forever trapped in ambiguity. By 2025, Lucas's energy has only grown more queer-coded. His roles consistently lean into complexity, often exploring themes of repression, longing, and vulnerability that resonate deeply with queer audiences. Whether playing characters struggling with identity or simply embodying softness in an industry obsessed with hypermasculinity, Lucas radiates a vibe that feels unmistakably queer, even when the script doesn't say so. On red carpets, his style reinforces this aura. Lucas often chooses slim silhouettes, soft colors, and ensembles that carry an almost poetic delicacy. At Sundance 2025, he appeared in a cream suit with sheer detailing that fans immediately called art boy queer-coded perfection. Fashion blogs praised his understated risk-taking, while queer Twitter declared him the new indie prince of ambiguity. But what truly sets Lucas apart is his quietness. He doesn't court scandal. He isn't flashy. He rarely even uses social media. That silence, however, only amplifies the speculation. Every rare interview becomes a treasure hunt for coded clues about who he really is. Fans dissect his words, his mannerisms, his projects, convinced that Lucas is saying more in subtext than he ever does out loud. Of course, critics remain divided. Some argue that Lucas has benefited from playing queer roles without fully embracing the label, accusing him of queerbaiting. Others see his openness about fluidity as revolutionary in its own right, proof that not every star has to fit neatly into a box. Either way, the conversation proves his cultural impact. For queer audiences, Lucas Hedges embodies something deeply relatable: the in-between, the uncertainty, the refusal to be pinned down. In a world that demands clarity, his vagueness feels oddly liberating. He doesn't have to come out in a headline or declare a label on Instagram. His existence as an openly ambiguous star is, in itself, a statement. The question is, will Lucas Hedges one day embrace a label, or is his greatest power in remaining undefined? From rock stars to indie darlings, from golden boys to troubled icons, these five men prove that sexuality in Hollywood doesn't always need a label to spark conversation. Harry Styles plays with flamboyant ambiguity. Shawn Mendes carries rumors he can never shake. Hedges thrives in fluid mystique. Ansel Elgort reinvents himself with queer-coded allure. And Cole Sprouse radiates chaotic energy that keeps fans guessing. Whether closeted, fluid, or simply uninterested in defining themselves, each of them challenges what it means to be a male celebrity in 2025. Their gay-coded vibes aren't just speculation, they're part of the culture, shaping how we see masculinity, fashion, and desire on the global stage. So, which one gave you the strongest vibes this year? Drop your pick in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories every week.